Welcome back to Prophecy Unfolding. This is breaking news coming out of Israel as of the 13th of June. We're seeing things escalating at such a fast rate, but this is the one thing that I personally have been keeping an eye on. Most of you know, and even yourselves know when you're studying prophecy, there's certain indicators we look for, and this is absolutely one of them. And I believe what's happened now between Israel and Iran, this could potentially actually really trigger off a war over there that can pull in many nations. What I want to do today, because many people ask why is it important that we look there, I'm going to show you one specific reason why we should be looking, especially what's going on with Iran at the moment. But have a look at what is happening, what Israel done in terms of their preemptive strike in Iran last night.
Iran is now calling Israel's latest military strikes a, quote, declaration of war. That's after a wave of attacks on nuclear and military sites. Israel says its new offensive, Operation Rising Lion, has only just begun, targeting scientists it claims are working on Iran's nuclear weapons program. The Israeli military says 200 fighter jets were involved, and reports suggest the Israeli intelligence agency Mossad smuggled drones into Iran in advance. In response, Iran has launched around 100 drones, but they're seen as largely symbolic so far. Tehran's supreme leader has vowed punishment after key commanders and scientists were killed, while Israel is warning more strikes may follow. Iran wants the UN Security Council to intervene, but Israel says this is about, quote, survival.
Again, I say, to me, this is one of the things that I look for, and I've said that for many years. I always look, when prophetically speaking, looking at the clock, I look at Israel and potentially what could be happening there, and how they could pull in many other countries, and we could see something catastrophic happening there. And to me, just seeing that happening and what they chose to do could potentially drag in other countries around Iran, and you'll see a lot of pressure being pushed on Israel. But the reason why we look to this and why it's so important is because of the ties that Iran have to prophecy as well, and potentially where this could go.
Iran in the Bible? Iran is not named explicitly in the Bible, but it's historically known as Persia. Persia is mentioned in Ezekiel 38 in a prophecy about a coalition of nations that will come against Israel in the last days. Ezekiel 38:5 says, Persia, Cush, and Put will be with them, all with shields and helmets. Many interpret this to mean Iran, Persia, aligning with other modern nations in a future attack on Israel, led by Gog and Magog, possibly representing a figure or nation from the far north, often associated with Russia by some interpreters. Tensions as signs of the times. Ongoing or escalating tensions between Iran and Israel, such as threats, proxy wars, or direct military strikes, are viewed by some as signs of approaching apocalyptic events predicted in books like Daniel, Ezekiel, Zechariah. Revelation. These people often see modern events as part of a prophetic timeline leading to a large-scale war involving Israel, for example, Ezekiel 38 and 39 war. A peace agreement or treaty, often tied to Daniel 9:27. The appearance of the Antichrist, the Tribulation period, the second coming of Christ.
Again, this is just an update just to keep you informed of what is happening. Try to keep us one step ahead, to be urgently praying for people that are involved around those areas, but also trying to get the gospel out, that even though it's chaotic in terms of things that's happening, that the gospel of Christ is still strong today when it was 2,000 years ago. You still can be set free, you can find him. Like always, even though we see chaos happening in the world, God's always in control, and keep the faith.